my main goal now is to interface humanity using the brain and the devices. So just forget about keyboard and anything. But I want to give new interface of humanity where they can control about anything. My thing of learning is you have to start tinkering instead of learning by Udemy or something. You have to start tinkering. Then is how the curiosity comes. So how do I solve this? How do I solve this?
Thank you for joining the Change I Am Possible, which is India's first Future Tech Meets Sustainability podcast. And today I'm delighted and honored to have with me Mr. Rakesh Shakati, who has worked as a brain-computer interface research scientist in Acheron Group and is currently the founder of SkyBrain. He has also been vested in stunt biking. So it's a surprising move from stunt biking to brain-computer interface. So welcome to the show, Rakesh. Really appreciate you taking time and being part of the podcast. So for the people who don't know about you, would you like to, give a brief introduction on who you are and what you've been doing?
So hi, I'm Rakesh. I'm based out of Bangalore. So I completed my engineering in electronics communication back in 2016 here in Reva, Bangalore. So then later I was trying to find anything to do anything meaningful in life. So I could not join any tech company. So I was just thinking what I could do with my life. So then later I was actually doing stunting all along. So I was actually working with TVS. So I was one of the official stunter of the TVS team. So later then on, I actually went and worked on cancer care. So I was working in a Hubble Cancer Care as a support group. So later then I found out how people are suffering and how the world, how it's not up to what we can do to help people. So then later I thought how I can use my engineering skills, what I learned in college, and how we can solve the problems. So then as I was seeing many cancer patients, most of them were bedridden and they were not able to communicate all these things. Because I used to see patients that were in very bad condition in the last level and these things. So and my dad was also bedridden for 1 year. So then later I thought how can I implement the technology? So I was just thinking about this. So then just I wake up early in the morning. So I was just browsing around YouTube in 4 o'clock in the morning. So then I actually stumbled upon Neuralink's live launch of Elon Musk. So then I thought, oh yeah, so there is something technology called neurotechnology, which I can use to help solve the problem. So that is when I hooked on to neurotech. So then that is how I started learning to code and everything. So it's been a 2.5 year journey. So I've been doing everything. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build an interface for humans where we can connect and control things. The technology is so advanced, but we still stick to keyboards and laptops and keyboards and mouse. So how we can change this, how we can interface the human mind to the devices. So that's why I'm actually trying to work on the Skype.
You are saying you want to solve the healthcare problem through technology, and you mentioned leveraging brain-computer interface. For the people who don't know what brain-computer interface is or what it could do, could you start by explaining what it is?
So brain-computer system where you can control any device or any system using your brain thoughts. So essentially what you're bridging your brain to the computer. So that is called brain-computer interface. So with your thought, you can just do anything. You can open up your computer, you can do tasks and you can do, this is how we define brain-computer interface.
Right. And what is the process? How do you do that? Because the brain, it's one of the most complicated biological, if I may call it a device. There are a lot of neuroscientists who call this nothing but a interface, a computing interface of sort, because we've got around 70 billion neurons, some 100 trillion synapses, and the way they fire and wire creates all of our perceptions or sight, sound, touch, smell, taste. How do you capture the brain data and how do you interface it with a computer? Could you just simplify this?
So as you tell, yes, our CPU is the brain itself. So everything what happens to has to go through the brain. So suppose somebody is in coma. So what happens is the brain is essentially shut down, but every part is running. So the main part of that is the brain. So as you see in neuroscience, it has grown and it has been growing. So the thing is, we are understanding brain as we know it. So right now, there are many technologies which we can use to measure the brain activity. So what I'm using right now is something called electroencephalography. So that is nothing but we are measuring the voltage spikes happening at the scalp area. So I'm doing something called non-invasive. I'm not working like Neuralink, who is going invasive in the brain. So I'm working on the brain so that we can actually help people, and even people who are interested in science fiction. So like controlling home. So I want to do that. So we pick up the scalp voltages from the electrode location. So suppose it can be different locations in the head. It can be occipital region, it can be motor cortex area, it can be frontal area. So we pick up the voltage and then we do the signal processing. So we calculate, we transfer it to the frequency domain. Then we do all the calculations and then we understand what the brain is happening, and then we put the raw data or any process data to the machine learning, and we can actually find the intent. So this is how basically how BCI EEG works.
What all kind of data does a simple device like this can pick up from a complicated 70 billion neurons and 80 trillion synapses?
So whatever you think or whatever you do, so there is a neuronal activity happening in the brain. So what you try to do is we try to understand through EEG, through the eyes of EEG. So what we are doing is we're measuring nothing but electrical voltage spikes. So we're measuring the spikes, and then we try to understand. It is nothing but we're trying to do this, but it's not the right way to do. It's not the only way, but that is how we have been able to control BCI. So there are people who are doing MEG also. So they're using MEG to control fMRI, FNIS to control BCI. But with EEG, it's very affordable and anyone can do that. So that is why I choose. So the device is nothing but an ADC. So it's analog to digital converter. It just measures the voltage spikes happening. And the thing is, you have to have a best ADC which has the best. So it has to provide the true sampling. So it has to provide the true voltages. When you have the true voltages, you can understand brain the real time. So that is the only thing about this device. So with the non-invasive, we are just measuring on the skull. So what happens is you just have to wear something headset like this. So this is something called a Muse. We can just wear it on the skull. So we can just understand what's happening in the frontal area of the brain.
If and when we understand the language of the brain, how the brain completely functions, I don't think we'll need any other technology. Because once we get that, every other technology would not be able to stand up to a brain computer interface, because once we get brain computer interface, we get everything that we want, right from artificial general intelligence to anything and everything, because we will be maybe characters like the ones shown in Matrix. Everything will be an upload and download. We could just download years of information and learning in a matter of minutes or seconds, depending upon the speed we have at that point of time. So it's a very exciting space, and the kind of changes that it can bring to healthcare and other industry sectors is almost unimaginable right now, because we can't even imagine once we understand our entire brain what it could do, where we create a language and build an interface between a computer, that the world will look completely different. I was watching a video of yours which you did 2 years back. You were tinkering around with a Raspberry Pi and you created a mind controlled vehicle of sorts. And I think Nissan's been working on this for quite some time. Nissan's, I think, been one of the first companies who's been working on a mind controlled vehicle. Would you like to talk about your works, what you've been doing? You said not healthcare. What have you been doing?
So again, I would love to talk about hype, talking about Matrix. So you can understand the directors have been a lot of imagination. So you can bring that to real world. So it would take a lot of, I think, a century or 50 years or something to really understand the brain, because it's very complex. It's very, very complex. We can't understand. So what we're trying to do, we're just trying to understand what our intent. So we are trying, it may be move a car, it can be open a window screen, it can be turn on light. So we are trying to understand our intent. So it would be really tough to understand the brain from thing, and it would be really tough to do something called uploading and downloading. It would be really easy if you know how the brain works. So once you understand the brain, it's very easy. And as you tell, so all the technology, so I have been able to understand AI, computer vision, and everything in the market just because I was working on BCI. Because you can apply any technology to BCI. You can apply the technology to VR. You can apply it to AR. It can be machine learning. It can be cloud technology. So you can use the technology. So what is happening here right now is BCI is just a standalone. So every other industry is helping it grow. So suppose they invent something IC which can actually do 1024 channel. So Neuralink is actually having 1024 channel something. So So with just a small thing. So what I'm trying to do, I'm just measuring from 8 channels. So that is 8 locations of the brain. So if you invent an IC, so what's happening is any invention in any part of the field will actually directly influence the BCI. So this is a very fun part of what I'm actually doing.
My last question to you, students or enthusiasts who want to learn and understand brain computer interface and wants to take this as a career opportunity, where does he start from? What is the learnings? What is the expertise required?
So about the career, it's very tough to find anything because not many people are working in the BCI aspect. So suppose if you want to work, so there are companies which are in the outside of India, but if you want to work there, you have to have a prior experience on something. But if you're an expert on something, I think you would have already been introduced to EG some or the other way. But it would be really tough for someone to go through this. So my thing is, there's something called Neurotech X. It's a community which teaches about neurotech. So you can go there and you can understand and learn everything. So it covers about programming. It can be about Arduino programming. It can be about how we can use devices. So they have code and everything, demos and everything ready. So they have chapters and they have books where we can study. So these things. So one can start over there. So I think we'll have to wait a few years so that, as you told, investors have to start thinking about how this will be a huge boom in the coming years, because you don't have to have advertise about neurotech, because if Elon Musk does something great in neurotech, so that will actually affect the industry, the remaining industry. So the once investors come and start opening companies, so we need more people who get into the technology. So once people try to understand this technology and we have experts, so this is how they can start actually.
And where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? I mean, do talk about that. And where do you see brain computer interface in the next 10 years? How do you think is going to impact us? I mean, maybe you could also, while you are at it, what you're going to be in 10 years, you could talk about like how maybe it could help us, in healthcare or other sectors, how it could create a real world value.
Just in 2015, so I was working in TVS company. I was the top stunter. I was the guy who gave the ad for Apache 200. So what you saw on the TV poster, that was me. So I just put my goal. So I thought just yes, I want to be a stunter. So I want to give the community something. So I want to teach people. So I was able to get that. So I did not have any goal. I did not see myself seeing the future. My main goal now is to interface humanity using the brain and the devices. So just forget about keyboard and anything. You can just use your normal, you can switch and phone and switches everything. But I want to give an interface, new interface to humanity, where they can control about anything. So it's not like we have to buy a headset where it's $2,000-$3,000, it's $100,000. It's be like, it should come as cheap as 10,000, 20,000. And the drawback is when you go low price, the data efficiency and the classification will be very much lower. But I want to change that so that it should be affordable for everyone. So right now, the smartphone was affordable only for few set of people. Right now, you can see about almost anyone in the roadside vendors are having the phone. So it's actually helping everything boom, right? So that is what I want to do. I want to provide affordable working technology, not just a hype where we just tell we'll do this. I just want to provide technology.
Right,
so
perfect.
Right. And about the brain computer interface technology in 10 years, I really have no idea, because there is a lot of advancement and I really don't know. And because you told me about virtual reality, I've been deep in BCI. I don't really know about other industry, but we can't actually know because there is very much exponential growth, and due to pandemic, everyone can work from their own comfort, and there has been a lot of improvement. And the people, I think they are creative. When people start creative, and when they get much attention, like I got my investors. So people need someone who can support them, because for the 2 years, I did not know anything. I did not know how to code. I did not know, I have the headset. How can I move a car? So it's like, I had to learn everything. So we need someone who would back them up. My parents were actually very fortunate, and they actually supported me. It's not like, they were not like, you did engineering, you have to do this job. So they supported me like, you're doing something, you do. So that's actually where I won actually. So we need more people to support this technology. So that is how we'll be able to bring a lot of transformation in really quick time.